couldn't wait. Hey, it's Romania Black. I may have read volume 22 of Yona of the Dawn last night, and I stewed on it all night and was like, I can't wait to find out what happens to Zeno. I can't wait. I got on the Discord and was like, you all think that I can wait a week. Nope, I can't. So I'm sorry you all have to. Sorry you had to wait for this volume. But no, I was like, how, Kusanagi, how dare you end on such a cliffhanger? We know that Zeno's probably going to be okay, but I'm like, I worry about our boy because he's immortal, yes, but he established that he was far away from Hiryu Palace, so he's not going to regenerate as quickly. Our boy needs to be saved. He doesn't think anybody can save him. I'm like, I need someone to help him, and I could not wait to find out what was going to happen. Nope, couldn't do it. So we're on volume 23. We've met a whole new cast of characters, which are on the cover of this volume. It's very colorful. It's very watercolor and like 90s. It's just screaming 90s colors, all the pink pastels. But we've met Princess Tao, if I'm pronouncing her name right. We've met her, we've met Voldo, and we've met Algira. I like Algira and Voldo a lot. Her personal guards, they're kind of like the Tetra and Ayura male equivalents, which is kind of funny. It's funny because looking at the cover, they're the blonde and dark haired, so it's literally Tetra and Ayura just gender swapped. And Algira has a big love of cats, so they're not totally similar. I love Algira loves all cats and things that are cute, including Pukyu Kitty, and calls her one Kitty, so you know. But yeah, we've established that Princess Tao, she wants to avoid war, so she's willing to like basically have her kingdom absorbed by Koka to avoid that from King Soo-won, whereas her sister Korin is like, nope, gonna go to war, not gonna have it. So you have these two opposing ideologies. Tao is being targeted for an assassination. She seems so sweet, but she does say she uses her looks to her advantage, so she's not dumb. Girl is smart. And then Yona and HAK are still dealing with their thing. HAK is still in Angst City. Yona's dealing with some personal that time of the month business. Girl can relate. And it's just leading up to this new arc starting, and already we're like off into crazy town. So of course, as only Kusanagi could do, we're already off to something crazy. But yeah, things are getting interesting, and so I just couldn't wait. I was like, I need to dive into this volume. But I do have one comment. Be Happy commented on volume 22, or on volume 21, sorry, that in chapter 121, one of the soldiers had a sword aimed at HAK, and before Gunte saved him, we see a panel of Soo-won drawing his own sword like he's going to go protect HAK. Of course, right? And then also I wanted to kind of note, and Be Happy talked about this, but yeah, Jaeha and Kija, there's a panel in volume 22 that I put on the Discord of when they find out that Yona loves Soo-won, and it cuts to Kija and Jaeha. It doesn't cut to the other dragons because one, Zeno doesn't care. Zeno does not love Yona at all. And Sheena doesn't really care because Sheena's not really in love with Yona either. It's definitely more of a sibling thing. But if any two dragons were to have a crush on Yona or love Yona, it would be Jaeha and Kija. Kija has a crush, but I feel it's more like a brotherly thing too. It's kind of like, it's a crush reminiscent of Yona's crush on Soo-won, honestly, in my mind. But Jaeha is very much like HAK. And Jaeha, I do think, loves Yona. But Jaeha is very much like HAK and being like, well, if she can be with somebody that makes her happy and HAK makes her happy, I'll step aside and let her love him. And it's like I just got onto Soo-won for being the cause of HAK's angst, and now HAK is the cause of Jaeha's angst. But I feel like Jaeha's mature enough that even though if he loves Yona, he can look beyond that. I'm like, HAK, I just want HAK and Yona to get together. So like, but it's so sad, right? It's just such a struggle of angst because Jaeha's basically saying like, I'll help Yona, I'll play matchmaker if it'll make you happy. You know, these dramatic dragons. But yeah, so I thought that was interesting. So thank you, Be Happy. But yeah, I'm ready to dive into volume 23. I woke up this morning, I poured some coffee, and I was like, nope, I can't wait. I was going to wait till tonight, and I was like, no. I was like, I'm not going to stew all day and wait to see what happens. So, you know, we'll see where that goes. But we are going to start volume 23 of Yona of the Dawn and just see what happens. Just see what happens. We're going to start that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's go. So there's that. I may have to read ahead. I hate that. I don't want to read ahead. I don't want to get too far ahead, but I can't stop now. I'm hooked. I'm hooked, y'all. I'm hooked. It's over. I'm hooked on this series. It's over. I may have to read ahead. I have lots of shows that I'm reacting to, so I say that. I say I have to read ahead, but then the good thing about having a lot of shows to react to and watch is that it keeps me from binging too far ahead, because then it keeps me from binging too much, because then I have to keep track. So I can only go so far ahead, and then I have to stop and go to another series. So that is good. But oh my God, this volume was great. There were so many themes, so many things touched on, so much going on. Oh my God. Yeah. So, so we got a lot going on in this series. Monsters from a neighboring country. Dang, this, we had 5 chapters in this, and then the 2 bonus chapters. The Take Care one was cute, and we'll talk about it. And then the bonus chapter, the 1 year ends, another begins. There's quite a bit with that. That we'll talk about. But man, I love seeing HAK and Yona and how they're developing in this. And again, we've talked about this being a slow burn, but I feel like it's slowly developing. HAK said, "I love you, damn it." He said he loved her. Can we freak out about that for a second? Can I freak out about it for a second? He said he loved her. He admitted it. He said it out loud. I can't. I cannot. HAK, you damn husbando. Yep. I haven't done my husbando video yet, and I'm so glad I've waited, because if I'm being honest, I wanted to get more of HAK before I recorded it. But man, I'm gonna say Mizari. I couldn't decide if it was Misery or Mizari. I'm pretty sure it's Mizari. He is creepy as all get out. I'm not a Mizari fan. He is weird and creepy. And man, Kusanagi, he's a different character than Kusanagi's had in this story. Him being so like just wanting to torture Zeno and have him come back to life. He's like a little kid. He's like a little sociopath, like a little psychopath with like a magnifying glass and ants wanting to burn them. He's like Sid off Toy Story. He is creepy. And I'm not a big fan of the old Mizari. Not a big fan. But Zeno, my precious Zeno, I feel for him so much, because, and Yoon, especially Yoon. Yoon cannot take Zeno getting hurt. Like the other 4 dragons are like, he'll be fine. We can still sense him. He's okay. But Yoon crying, I can't. Nope. I can't handle Yoon in tears. I can't do it. It's too much. It's so sad. And just seeing Zeno, like, God, Zeno, like, with his teeth and everything, like, clawing at Yona, and then slowly healing. Oh. Like, I can't. Like, it's so, I hate, like, Kusanagi loves to draw Zeno. You can tell that she loves to draw him. And she draws him, like, just in so much pain. Like, it's so, as I'm taking a picture of it, like, just in so much pain. And it's so sad. I don't like seeing Zeno like that. And just seeing Yona hold him and hug him, it very much reminds me of Hiryu. It reminds me of that so much. I hate it. And Yoon being like, and them saying, "What are you people?" Yeah, so I don't like the fact that now, it's very sad that now the people of Xing think that they're monsters. They think that the dragons are monsters. And it's like, no, they're not. And Tao knows that they're not. But, and Yoon just being sad and crying and being like, that's not the problem. You shouldn't hurt yourself. He's like, stop it. like, take better care of yourself, Zeno. Know that people care about you. And I love all the dragons are like all around him, and including Yoon being like, just stop it. I feel like Yoon is kind of I feel like Yoon and Kaya are connected in the weirdest of ways, right? I feel like they're connected, which is interesting. And of course, my dog is barking. So, but yeah, I feel like Yoon and Kaya kind of have the same like care for Zeno, which is cool. I'm not saying that not saying that Yoon is Kaya reincarnated or anything, but I just feel like that Yoon cares for Zeno much the same way like Kaya cared for him. And I think Zeno kind of sees that sort of comfort in Yoon like he did with Kaya, which is cool, right? And so we have this first mangaka note. Thank you very much for picking up Yona of the Dawn, Volume 23. Volume 23. I'll be continuing for a while longer. I'm very grateful to my long-time readers. I made an illustration collection for the deluxe version of this volume. Yona has been running for about 8 years. There were so many illustrations that I couldn't include them all, but I included a wide variety of them. I'm grateful for the chance to make a collection that at a time when books don't sell. I hope there are pictures in it that you like. Wow, so this was 2016? So this has been going on for like 17 years? Crazy talk. And then all the kids... I was sad when Algira was like, I thought the kitties were burned up in the fire. I was like, oh, and then Voldo saved them. Like, what a softie. What a secret softie. He's so... Voldo doesn't want to admit that he's soft. I love that Algira's like, Voldo Kitty's like, if you add Kitty to my name, I'll gut you. Like, I love it. I love that Algira's like, you saved my cats, Voldo. And then I love that Sheena is like holding up PQ, like, don't forget him too. Don't forget her too. So this whole volume is so interesting, and there's so much going on with it that is fascinating, right? So you have Algira getting trained by HAK. You have Voldo getting trained by Jaehan Kija, of course. But then we find out that the kingdom, they don't have a military because Junam and Yuhan wiped it out. We'll talk about Yuhan because Yuhan does some things that I'm like a little sketch with right now. And so they established that because they don't have the military might, they're going to use women and children as soldiers. And Yona's like, not for that. So Mazari coming back and just, he's creepy and wanting the dragons all to himself. Mazari's just a creepy guy. I don't like him. I like Yukata. Yukata's pretty cool. I like that he's like a lion. Has like a beautiful face with the big... He's like if Gunte was beautiful. That's what I feel like Yukata is. But Mazari's just creepy. Not about it. I also find it interesting. Here's the thing that's interesting is the robes that the Xing clothing they wear, like Zeno has the Xing robes on now. I feel like those robes are similar to kind of what Soo-won wears, which is interesting because Soo-won, his dad, basically, they like destroyed the kingdom of Xing originally. So that's interesting, right? Very curious. But I like that we get Yona talking with the kids, and the kids are all gearing up for War 2. That's the sad thing. Like, they're all... you can see the wars on everybody's mind, and that it's affecting the kids as well. That they're being told things, and they're impressionable, so they're being told that Kwoka's going to kill them all, so they're all getting prepared for war. It's really sad. And so then, of course, we have HAK being like, can I just call you Yona? And Yona's like... Wasn't ready for that. Nope. Not ready for that at all. Oh. But he ends up calling her mistress. Isn't my mistress the coolest? I love the HAK's like my mistress. And so it's what's really sad. The kid is like, the king is sick. Her king is sick. And so that's why Korin is taking over, which adds another layer onto this that Yona's like, oh, wow, your dad is ill. So this is why you feel extra responsibility. Okay. We got another mangaka note. In the chapter A Name is Given in Volume 5, HAK addresses Yona by her name. It wasn't that he consciously wanted to call her that, but he was caught up in the moment. HAK doesn't really care how he refers to Yona. I think all that matters to him is being by her side. He said that if he couldn't wish, he said it as if he couldn't wish for anything more. From Yona's perspective, HAK is the only person who shares memories of her father. That special connection between them hasn't changed, but Yona's the only one who gets flustered by what HAK calls her. Aw. So then, yeah, I'll be honest. Whenever we first saw Korin, I thought it was Soo-won. I was like, Soo-won just is following Yona all over the place. He's made it into Xing. I thought because of the earrings, again, the earrings and stuff, it looks kind of like Soo-won. So I thought that it was Soo-won under the hood, but no, it's Korin. And I was like, oh, interesting. And the way that Tao described Soo-won in the last volume with the banners and everything, it kind of, in the armor, looked like Soo-won as well. So, and I imagine based on the cover, because Tao has blonde hair and green eyes, that she has blonde hair and green eyes too, which so does Soo-won. So that's interesting. I'm like, I don't want any spoilers. I don't want any hints. I don't want anything like that. But I just get the feeling that maybe is Soo-won's mom from Xing, which would be interesting. If Junam and Yuhan took over Xing years ago, then it would make sense if maybe Soo-won's mother is from Xing. Maybe. That would make sense in that case. Okay. It's just the way that she looks and the way that their outfit and their clothing style looks, it reminds me a lot of Soo-won. So I would not be surprised if Soo-won's mother was from Xing. Just curious. I guess we'll find out, right? I guess we'll find out. But I feel like we have Tao, and it's funny, you have Tao and Korin, who very much strike me as similar to King Il and Yuhan, because you have Korin here, who is like ready to go into battle, talking about warriors and like leading her people and is fierce. And then you have, and she's like tall and like abrasive. And then you have Tao, who's like short and kind of, short in stature and very seeming like youthful and very innocent, kind of like King Il. So you have that comparison of these two sisters who remind me a lot of Il and Yuhan. You have Tao and Korin. So that parallel's there. I think it's intentional. I'm curious what Kusanagi is going to do with it, right? If it's just there as kind of like just a superficial comparison, or if there's something more to it. But yeah, but Yona realizes in this moment, she's like, Korin is the absolute ruler of Xing. Like, she may be a princess, but she's definitely taken over for her father. And Yona's like, well, crap, if she speaks, then Tao is not going to be able to do anything. It's like Tao can't do anything next to her sister. She's like, what are we going to do? And I love that HAK just takes her hand. I love that HAK can sense that she's nervous, and he's like, I'm right here. I'm right here. I love that. Or he's like, I'm always by your side. I'm right here with you. And she's like, there has to be something I can do. There has to be something I can do to save these people. She's like, what are we going to do? And that's when she decides, she's like, I could go back. And I love the desperation on her face. Like the desperation that she has. Like, she's so terrified of the idea of going back to Soo-won, because you know that Yona doesn't want to. She doesn't want to go back to Soo-won. She doesn't want to go talk to him. He's the last person she wants to see right now, but he's the only person who can technically stop this war. And she's like, we have to. Otherwise, there's going to be conflict. And I just love that desperation on her face, where she's looking at HAK being like, will you follow me? Like, I know this is going to kill you to ask. And she's like, I'm so sorry, but will you come with me? And I love that all HAK thinks about is, you keep heading down such perilous paths. And he's like showing her like walking across a bed of thorns. And he's like, how could I possibly let you go alone? HAK, my dude, he says, I'll follow you anywhere, no matter who's waiting at the end of the road. We all need a HAK. HAK, Kusanagi, why are you giving us these men and their impossible standards? Why? We just all need a HAK in our lives. So yeah. So basically, and you can tell Korin is extremely traumatized by what Yuhan has done. And she says, Soo-won, the son of Yuhan, like she associates Soo-won to be exactly like his father. And Yona uses the fact that she's King Il's daughter to her advantage. So we see bloodlines and kind of how it goes both ways. We see how Soo-won is characterized by his father, and we see how Yona is by her father, and she uses that to her advantage. So I feel like Soo-won is going to have to go and try to portray this image of himself that is the opposite of Yuhan, but I don't know if that's going to happen. We're going to talk about that. So I like that Yona's like, I need to be calm. And so Yona's like, okay, let me calm down while I'm talking about this. Why is your sister have such this view of Koka? Like, you don't have this view of Koka. What's the deal? And so we established that Korin is the elder sister. So it's probable that Tao was, she said 17 years ago. So Tao would have only been 2 years old. So it looks like that maybe Korin is like in her mid-20s, because she looks a lot older in this. But so we understand from this flashback that Yuhan, they had many, many battles, and there was a lot of bloodshed, and the Xing army was defeated, and they surrendered to Koka. And the Sky Tribe General Yuhan claimed that he released the Xing soldiers and the citizens he'd taken prisoner, but he beheaded them instead and flung their heads at the palace gates. So, that is a problem. And that's pretty awful. Not only did he not keep his word, but he not only did that, but he also, to fling their heads at the palace gates, to behead all of them. And then, of course, Corin had become close to some of those soldiers, and she was young, so it was very traumatic. I love that whenever Yona gets sad, her hair deflates. Whenever she gets sad, her hair, deflates around her head. It's like, oh. And then just this panel which says, it's like seeing General Yuhan return from the dead. I believe that's what's driving my sister. And everybody's just kind of like, oof. And Yona just looks horrified because she didn't realize that her uncle was like this. And this is the one thing. The dad, her father, King Il, issued a formal apology, gave the land back, and tried to foster peace between the nations, right? He tried to foster peace. And so that's the thing. We talk about areas of gray. Yeah, King Il was not doing a great job of ruling his own kingdom. He was not doing good. But I can't say that it's bad what he did, apologizing, giving the people of Xing back their land and trying to foster some peace. After what his brother did, yeah, I can see that. So you can kind of see that there is some shades of gray with Il, that not everything he did was bad. I think that what he did with Xing after that was not a bad thing. But then, of course, you understand why Corin's freaked out, because they're seeing Soo-won gain all these kingdoms back and fighting them in battle. So, of course, they would assume that the same thing's going to happen all over again. And Yona is terrified of that. She's like, no. She's like, I don't want that to happen. So, of course, we cut away from... I wish we'd got more with Yona's thoughts with that, but I know it's going to come back with... I feel like that moment of Tao talking about Yuhan and the King of Xing and fearing King Soo-won. I feel like if Yona and HAK meet up with Soo-won again, which they're going straight to the palace, I'm like, you expect me to wait to read volume 24. You expect me to wait. Oh my God. So, you expect me to wait. Yeah. So I feel like that conversation is going to come back up. I feel like the conversation is going to come back up with Soo-won, and is he the same as his father? Because I feel like Yona's like, yeah, I am a lot like my dad, but I'm not the same as my dad. I am doing things that my father would not do. Are you going to be the same as Yuhan, or are you different? And so I feel like that conversation is going to come back up in a later volume. But yeah, so things all go to hell in a handbasket, though. Things go hell in a handbasket. We get here... Our dragons, Kija and Jeha, they try to get away from Yutaka, but it does not work because of Mizari. Mizari recognizes Zeno, and Zeno tries to be like, oh, Zeno's friends are quite weak, leave us alone. And it doesn't work. I have another mangaka note. With so many characters, it's hard to remember their names, huh? Question, what's his name? Hemorrhoids! That's just an insult. Why are you like this? Stubborn. Those aren't remotely close. Gloomy. Nakura. You're getting closer. It's still an insult. It's Naguro. That page where he's like, look up, please. And he's like aiming at Zeno. Again, Kusanagi loves to draw Zeno. But yeah, him, I found you. Oh my God. Mizari is weird. I don't like him. Oh. Yeah, and him just with the creepy smile. Nope. You should move more slowly. I like that they're like, these are the monsters from Koka. And yeah, and then they're about to have a battle, and they're like, no, wait, no. We cannot fight them because we could launch a war. We could launch a war if we battle them. And Jeha's like, no, we can't fight right now. He senses, he's like, we don't want to be tied in with Soo-won. We don't want to trigger a war in the midst of this town. No. And so then, I like chapter 133, Proof. Oh my God. And Mizari's creepy. He says he wants to see Zeno come back to life. And they just get the crud beat out of them. I hate it. And then poor Jeha gets his hair clip broken and his green hair flowing all around him. I like Jeha with his hair down, but not like this. Not under these circumstances. No. And so then I love Yoon. Yoon steps in. Yoon, healer of all things, mother of our clan. Yoon stepping in and being like, look, they're not attacking you. Stop it. He's like, I'm a citizen of Koka and I despise violence and war. And he's like, before you kill me, I want you to get that through your head. Oh, Yoon is so, I love our boy Yoon. I'm like, oh, just a saint out there, like, saving people. And just, oh man, Yona and HAK finding out and her getting word, like, it's just, things just go to hell. And so Tao decides that she's going to go back and talk to Korn, and Yona's like, look, no, we're going to negotiate, but we'll go back first and we'll get things settled with your sister, and then we'll go find Soo-won, talk him out of this, make him not attack, and go from there. Oh, I do hate that Mazari is like, he still cut Zeno. That's, I don't like Mazari at all. He's creepy and I don't like him, and he's trying to torture Zeno. Nope. So then we have another mangaka thing. Question once again, what's his name? Hold on, wait a second. Naguro. Wow, it only took you one guess. My assistant. Hemorrhoids was the only thing I could think of. Of all things, hemorrhoids was stuck in our memory. And then I love that we see Voldo and Algira come up. Like they're ready to storm the place. And with Tao, I love that they're her protectors. They're so eccentric and perfect. It's great. But then Tao, I love that she's like, no, release them. She's like, they have nothing to do with King Soo-won. And you can tell Korn is traumatized. She's like, no. She's like, I'll torture him. She's like, we don't know that they won't betray us. And of course, my dog is barking at whatever is outside. And then Yona reveals, she's like, look, it's clear that Yuhan has deeply impacted Korn and she's associating Soo-won, so I'm going to play this card. She's like, my one time playing the family card. She's like, I am King Il's daughter. I love it. And I love the HAK's like, you had to reveal this. Okay. All right. And then even Tao didn't know, but they all realize that it is her based on what their father had told them about her red hair being ablaze. I love that it's growing back out. You can see that it's like grown to her shoulders. I love it. And so I love that Yona is like, we did not come here on Soo-won's orders. And she's like, I will never act on Soo-won's orders. I love that. I love that Yona's like, no, I am not Soo-won's puppet. I will never be. I love that she takes a stand, that she's like, nope, I am not standing for this. She's like, please release them. They're my family. And for a second, I thought that Korn was going to release them, because you can tell that when Tao was talking about Korn having the relationship with the soldiers, I figured she would connect, okay, Yona is friends with these dragon warriors. They're like the relationship she had with them, just like Korn had with the soldiers. But she's like, no, they're my hostages. And she's like, how? She's like, she says, do you despise Soo-won? How do I know you're not going to work with him? How do I know? She's like, we could work together and take him down. And Yona's like, that's not what I want. She's like, I don't want to go to war at all. She's like, I don't want to defeat him. I don't want to fight him whatsoever. That's not the point. And so she asks HAK, she's like, do you want to take revenge on your king? And man, the growth on HAK, because he's like, right now, nothing matters to me more than saving my friends. He's like, put that aside. He's like, don't play with my emotions, lady. I've come a long way since volume 14 and 16, just so you know. And so Yona's like, I'll assist you. I don't want any of our people to fight. I don't want any of this to happen. And Korn's like, well, what do you think's going to happen? She's like, Soo-won's going to invade. Do you think I should surrender? She's like, after our defeat 17 years ago, Yuhan treated my people like slaves. And Yona's like, we'll find out. Give me some time. Let me go negotiate with him. And Korn thinks she's going to die. She's like, there's no way that Soo-won's going to let her live. She's like, you went to the palace. That man killed your father and seized your palace. Do you think he'll speak with you as an equal? And Yona's like, I've got to try. It's our only option at this point. And she's like, fine. If you don't come back, I'm going to war. And I'm going to keep Tao and the dragon warriors as hostages. I'm like, so our dragon warriors are stuck in Xing. Our dragon warriors are stuck there, waiting on Yona and HAK to get back. But thankfully, or not, I hope Voldo and Algira are safe. I hope they stay safe. They've been gone. And I love that Tao sends them off, saying, I want you to protect and represent us. I love it. And so then, yeah, Korn's like, that girl will almost certainly die at Soo-won's hands. I wish I could have seen her wield a bow one more time. I don't think Soo-won will kill her, though. No. Mm-mm. The question is, if they get an audience, the question is, will they get an audience with Soo-won, or will someone else try to kill them, like Kyusuk, or one of the ones that are like his advisors? Are they gonna, or Judo even, is he gonna try to attack? So are they even gonna get an audience with Soo-won? And 2, I could see Soo-won not killing them, but I could also see Soo-won being like, I'm still going to war. I don't know. I don't know. I can see Soo-won ignoring her and being like, no, I'm going to war. Or I could see maybe her being able to talk him out of it. I don't know. We don't know for sure if Soo-won was even going to go to war with Xing to begin with. He's been trying to get information from Ogie about Xing, but we don't know much else. So maybe Soo-won is not intending to go to war with her. Maybe not. We don't know yet. I do like the cover of Sheena holding the cat and hawking him back to back. That one's really cute. And then we see Aljiro with his clothes. It's really, really cute. I love it. With the wraparound. It's adorable. So yeah. So Yoon tries to get the bag of medicine back, and Mizari is creepy as all get out. I don't like him. And Zeno's like, I'll let you stab me as many times as you want if you just give us the medicine bag. And Yoon's like, Zeno, stop. And he's like, what happens to Zeno doesn't matter. Which is sad. Really sad. And I like that Kija and Jaeha are like, yeah, it's all of our fault. If we had been more careful, Yona and them wouldn't have had to go off. And I like, again, Jaeha with his hair down is beautiful. But Jaeha's like, I can't say I imagine she'd negotiate with King Soo-won. Yeah, there's really just no other option at this point. I'm worried about HAK too. I'm not sure he can stay calm in front of the king. Yeah, I feel like HAK's come a long way. And then Zeno says there's a rift between Koka and Xing. It'll be difficult to negotiate anything. And that's when Sheena speaks up. And so we have this mangaka note. Pyukyu loves everyone in Yona's party, but Sheena is her favorite. Whenever she hasn't seen him in a while, she clings to him. Her love is deep. Oh, that's so cute. So Sheena, we find out that Sheena was going to use his power. I forgot about Sheena. He was so quiet. He was just holding the sword. He was going to use his power, and Zeno was like, no. Because again, they didn't want to attack anybody or cause any more trouble. And so Zeno's like, look, nobody knows your power. Keep it a secret. And Sheena's like, I will use it on anyone to protect Yona. Oh, and Jaeha's like, you're making me teary. And Zeno's like, okay, we'll just conserve your strength for now, and that way we'll have it when we fight. And then let's all go back home with the young lady. Oh, and so Yona, we cut to her, and she's been going nonstop, and she has a panic attack. She just has a straight up panic attack where she's like, everything is riding on her. Like her friends are held hostage. Yoon's held hostage. He's not immortal. He doesn't have any special powers. The dragons are hurt. She has to go talk to the one person she doesn't want to talk to about stopping a war, knowing that he's killed her father. And she's been confronted with this information about Yuhan. She's got this whole thing with HAK going on. We don't know how long it's been since her time of the month. Everything is stacked against her. And then she just can't take it and collapses. And I love that HAK just sits there and holds her. Oh. And I'm sorry, but the tent scene with them, I love this conversation where he's like, I'm the dark dragon. I can feel their presence. I can tell they're holding up. Like HAK says he's a dragon that he can sense the others. And he's like, as of last week, we're the 5 dragon warriors. Like the 5 stars, the 5 dragon warriors. It's so cute. He's like, I'm the dark dragon. Oh. And oh my God, I can't, this panel of HAK imitating the squirrel and just being next to her is just the most ridiculous thing and the most adorable thing. But him just trying to make her smile. And then Yona saying, don't push yourself too hard trying to make up for the 4 dragons. She's like, don't try to make up for them. You're your own person. She's like, I may not be as capable as they are, but I'm here with you. And him hugging her. And then, and he says, Your Highness. And he said, I love you. I can't. He said it out loud. It's official. It's out loud. It's out in the open. He said he loves her. and then just turning around, going to sleep beside her, and her just like holding on to his cloak there. It's just, it's a lot. It's a lot, and I can't. I'm just, oh my God. The fact that he's admitted it, and it's out in the open, and Yona just, I'm like, come on, girl, couldn't you have heard it? And she thinks that she dreamt it, and it's like, I feel like HAK told me something important in my dream. It's like, yeah, he did tell you something important, that he loves you, but it wasn't a dream, darn it. And so they end up going to find Riri first, which I was trying to think, okay, who would they find that they knew that could help them get in with Soo-won? And I thought about Moondok, but HAK makes the point that he doesn't want to involve the Wind Tribe because he's done enough. He doesn't want to get them involved any further. So they go to find Riri, and it's like, well, Riri would be the obvious choice, but she's gone. It's like, dang it. She hasn't been back in several weeks. So that leads us to Voldo. Voldo has been the one that's been the informant with Ogie. It's been Voldo this whole time giving information, which is interesting. So that makes me wonder if maybe they were leading up to getting information and being able to meet with Soo-won, if that was going to end up happening. That's curious. But yeah, Ogie remembers HAK from way back when they helped find Yona, and he's instantly like, nope, don't want to get involved with this guy. I know where this is headed. And I love that the light shining on Ogie and shining on HAK's face at the same time, where they're both like, oh, you're that person. I love it. And just, he's like, you know me, don't you? And Ogie's like, I've never seen you before. And he's like, do you know a guy called Juan? And Yona's like, what? And he's like, he says, years ago, you searched for Her Highness with us. And that look, HAK with that snake-like look where he's like, have you forgotten about that, Ogie? Like, he looks like a dragon. He does look like a dark dragon when his eyes get all slit like that. And he just has that little, like, smirk. He's like, His eyes are like, he just looks like a dragon, right? That's some nasty glare. Thunder Beast of Quokka, or should I call you HAK? Yeah, so, okay. So, Ogie, that's going to be interesting to see if Ogie gives them information and gets them to Soo-won. Or maybe they don't even have to go to the palace. Maybe they'll be able to meet up with Soo-won outside of the palace with Ogie, like on this neutral ground, and they won't even have to go to the palace. Maybe we'll just spare all that. Maybe Ogie will just lure Soo-won over there to give information and then meet up with HAK and Yona. They'll talk it out. Everything will be fine. Nothing to see here or worry about. And we'll go back to Xing and save the dragons, and that'll be that. No, it's not going to be that easy. I'm sure it's not going to be that easy. I'm sure it's going to be way more complicated than that, but come on. And so then we have the bonus chapter, right? About the new year. And I love this chapter. It's really cute at the beginning that we see like the little brother and everybody that I love the little brother's like, I want to take a bath with HAK. And everybody's like, we want to take a bath with HAK too. And it's like, everybody's whipped for HAK. Like this whole series, the readers, everyone, we're all whipped for HAK. But then I love that Yona, they're talking to Soo-won. I wonder, so Soo-won says I have to greet family members during the new year though. So we have Soo-won going back home, right? Interesting. And so we see Minsu. He was the one that got fired the arrow through. Like in episode 1, I was like, oh God, it's Minsu. He's back. So this part's interesting. So Soo-won leaves. And of course, HAK bows to him. And let it be known, HAK invited Soo-won home with him. HAK invited Soo-won to his house, invited him to come stay for the New Year's celebration. He invited him before Yona. Soulmates. Just saying, the love is mutual. Kusanagi, how dare you? How dare you? But yeah, so this part's interesting. His year-end prayers. As the year closes, His Majesty confines himself within the mausoleum of the Crimson Dragon King to pray for peace and a good harvest for our nation. So I'm curious. The King Il seems very, very, very in belief of the dragon mythology. Like he seems as in on it as the Fire Tribe people are. So I wonder when Yona was born if he was like, oh, she might be the reincarnation of the Dragon King. So that's why he forbid her from using any weapons. That's why he was like, got to keep her out of here and keep her safe. That's why he like, especially after he lost his wife, if he was like, crap, I got to keep her extra safe. And so it makes sense that he like holds himself up to pray to the Dragon King, being like, please watch over my daughter. But the sad thing is that because he's so busy doing this, that the other people kind of ignore Yona. And so King Il doesn't spend time with her, and Yona's by herself during New Year's, which is really sad that she's by herself. And that makes HAK even more of a husbando, because he gives up his time going home to spend New Year's with her. He's like, you're my only option for company. Do you mind if I stay here? And he frames it like, it's not because I like you and stuff, but, or I feel sorry for you. It's because, you know, it's just a nice thing to do. And Yona's just like, oh, yeah. And I love that if you've ever been like by yourself for a while and you have guests suddenly with the ability to come over and you're like, oh, I'll make food. I'll do this. I'll do that. Like, I've done that too. I've been like, oh yeah, let me make food. Let me do this for you. Like, you just want that company, right? You just want that company with someone. And I love that she like bundles them up and like makes him food, offers to make him food. And she's like, well, I don't want to get the servants out here though. But he gives the fried dumplings to her and that smile at her. And she's like, don't you want to go see your family? And he's like, they'll manage without me. And she's like, thanks, HAK. And then I love this monologue. He says that he wants to punch people that think she's spoiled or stupid. Like, he's loved Yona for a while. And him saying, she's not like that at all. And when he says, I hope that someday there'll be someone who sees past rank and status and doesn't care about those things. Someone who understands her highness. And I want to befriend that person. And then we see the happy, hungry bunch. We see all the people that he befriends because they don't judge Yona. Because they look past her rank and status and love her for who she is. So we see Yoon. We see the white dragon. We see the blue dragon. We see the green dragon. We see Zeno like looking up at the sky. Oh. I love it. And I love that there's that transition of Jeha being talked about as being the rejected dragon. He was rejected by the girls, and then we cut to the rejected dragon Zeno. And then they have the rice wine. And everybody's a little bit sadder that HAK didn't come home. But he's like, then for today, I'll be your wife. And I love HAK's like, oh God, no. It's not because he's insulted by the idea, but it's because he loves her. And he's like, oh, my wife, huh? I'm not ready for that. Like, he's going through, HAK in this bonus chapter is going through the motions of falling in love with Yona that Yona is now going through with HAK in volume 22 through 23. So it's like, HAK was here way before, girl. HAK's been through that love phase way before. It's just been cultivating over the years, and you're just now getting to it. Oh my God. And then, yeah, so then we have the other bonus chapter where the candy, the cough drops that gave everybody a little too much feel good. And we find out the weaknesses. Sheena's weakness is food. And Zeno manages to get in with the food. Kija's weakness is bugs. And that gets him to cling to Jeha. Of course, the Jeha-Kija shipping is like my heart. I love it. And then, of course, Zeno knows exactly what her weakness is. Zeno's like, oh, the young fellow will be back soon. And Jeha picks up on it and they're like, oh, okay. And so then we find out that Zeno has indeed been following Yona and HAK this whole time. To the point where he has definitely noticed that they're in love. And definitely, and I love the face of Kija and Yoon and Jeha when he's like, you said, please give yourself to me. And she's like, oh, God, no. She's devastated. Yeah. Oh my God. I love that Yona feels so embarrassed now. She's like, why did I say those things when I really feel that way about him? I love it. And I like, Yoon's like, how do you know all this stuff? And Zeno's like, I've been following them for quite a while. It's been quite the slow burn, let me tell you. And I'm immortal. Oh my God. And then of course HAK shows up and he's like, you scratched your hands. We can't train if you do that. Oh my God. It's great. And then at the very end, Kija's like, oh, bring me some more candy, Grandma. And he's like, stop it. No. Yeah, so Kusanagi is treating us with this slow burn over the course of this series. Like, she is treating us very well to their feelings developing slowly but surely. But I can't believe we got the I love you. The L word was dropped in this. HAK dropped it. He said it out loud. Like, scent. So, yeah, there's no way that there's no way I'm going to be able to wait a week. Just don't know. Hopefully not. We'll see. We'll see. Right? We'll see. Maybe. I say that. There's still lots of shows to watch, and so I'm sure that I'll have to take a break from this to watch the other shows and catch up with them, but this volume was really, really good. And now I'm so curious to see if they're going to make it to Soo-won and talk to Soo-won and stop him from invading Xing and what that's all going to be like. If you told me back during the anime that this is where we were going, would not have believed you. Been like, how are we going to get to that point? Would not have believed you, but here we are. I'm floored. And I'm prepared to have my jaw on the floor for the next volume too. So, oh my God, this volume was incredible. But there's so many good moments. I really can't wait for your comments down below to see what you all liked about this volume. Mwah, it was chef's kiss. I'm so excited, but I'm curious to know what you all thought down below. So in the meantime, I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe. Take care. And yeah, I'm going to take a little time off, but I'll be back very soon with volume 24 of Yona of the Dawn. Bye.